When I was a kid, we used to watch the Bionic Man religiously. And back then it was science fiction. But these days, with recent developments, bionics is a reality. The goal is to increase ability and enhance quality of life. A 2012 article for Reuters by science correspondent Julie Steenhuisen talks about how the rise in diabetes cases is going to make lower leg amputations reach 4 million by the year 2050. I have a sister who has Down syndrome, and my mom started a summer camp for kids with mental and physical disabilities called Camp Jambalaya, so I know a little bit about how disabilities can make daily life difficult. Recent advances in bionics are allowing people with certain types of injuries and medical conditions to achieve unprecedented function and productivity. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how prosthetics are better than they were before. Then I'm going to tell you a couple inspirational stories, and then I'm going to talk about the cutting edge of research that's bringing this field to the next level. Let me start with some recent improvements. You want a prosthesis to feel like it's part of you. 2011 article by distinguished journalist Laura Sanders in Science News talked about a pressure-sensitive device with small rods that poke into strategically placed nerves in the stump of the patient that activate the phantom hand sensation in the motor cortex. The motor cortex is a map in the brain, an area of the brain that has a map of the entire body, even the part with the missing hand. In 2006, science correspondent Celeste Beaver wrote in a New Scientist article about Matt Nagel. Matt is paralyzed from the neck down. He has electrodes implanted in his brain that pick up patterns that initiate pre-programmed movements in a robotic arm. He can also operate email and play computer games and draw a circle, as you can see. So I've just told you about Matt, and his procedure was risky, and his story is inspirational, but I have a couple more inspirational stories for you. Israeli engineer Amit Gaffer is paralyzed, but Amit designed a bionic exoskeleton. But that's not the whole story. Former equestrian Claire Lomas used that exoskeleton to complete the London Marathon on May 7th, just a few months ago. Jennifer French is a paralyzed snowboarder who was the first woman to receive a functional electrical stimulation system, which helps her stand at the push of a button. So now that I've gone over some of the devices that are out there, let me tell you about what's on the horizon. 20-year-old Haley Danishwitz participated in a bionic leg trial sponsored by the U.S. Army. The device picks up neural intent signals from her thigh muscles. In other recent research, scientists at Duke University conducted tactile sensation experiments by placing electrodes in the brains of 2 monkeys. The monkeys were able to pick out one of 3 virtual objects that all looked alike based solely on their virtual texture. They did not use their paws, they used a cursor, as you can see. These are some of examples of innovations using machines for rehabilitation and improvement. I'd like to wrap up with a video of Kathy Hutchinson.
Kathy.
All of us were standing in awe, more or less, because we were watching her drinking the coffee, and it was really such a stunning scene.
That was a special moment for all of us. It was a magic moment.
So let me end by saying that as we look to the future, further advances will continue to allow those with lost functionality or limbs to contribute and explore. Intuitive control and tactile sensation are features of modern prosthetics. Strong-willed people with inspiring stories are using the devices to exceed expectations, and testing on monkeys is showing researchers the way to develop more capabilities. So when we look to people like Stephen Hawking, Matt Nagel, or Kathy Hutchinson, we have to ask ourselves, what's my excuse for not being productive today? Thank you.